Chef Dino here from Louisville, Kentucky at Corbett's Restaurant. Today I'm doing a little grouper with a red clam sauce with a little bit of shrimp and a couple of mussels. One of the things I wanted to show you before we get started though is sometimes your fish will come in and have a bloodline in it. There's nothing bad there, but it does need to be removed. So you can see on this fish, that little line right there, we're going to take our knife and we're going to cut that off before we saute our fish. So you have a nice clean piece to cook with. The other thing is on your shrimp, I like to take the tails off because as far as I'm concerned, if a dish goes to a table, it should be completely 100%. I don't want my guests at least to have to sit and detail shrimp. So just a nice squeeze on the end and pull, and they also come right back off. Also with the mussels, if you look at this mussel, completely closed, tighter than a drum. This one, however, is slightly opened, which means it's either close or starting to lose a little bit. So you can press on it like so, and it's going to close, which means it's still alive. If they don't close, the mussel is dead and you should not use them, definitely. As part of our garnish for this dish, we're using our Ardean ring, which I've alluded to before, but this is a little mold ring that we use to stack different vegetables, wheats, all kinds of things that are kind of consistently sized to dress up a plate a little bit. So we're going to use the round one today. I'm going to place it, and then I'm going to begin to, I've got some barley and mushrooms that are going into the bottom level. And with my spoon, I'm going to push them down in there, turning the ring a little bit. Push them down. The next level is butternut squash. All right, take a little bit of butternut squash. This has been diced and pre-cooked, boiled off with a little stock and a little bit of herbs. And last but certainly not least, spaghetti squash. If you're not familiar with spaghetti squash, it's very simple. Don't be afraid of it. It's one of those vegetables that's truly remarkable and wonderful. It's a fall squash. Basically, you take a large spoon and you pull out the center, cut it in half, and you want to pull all this out, all those seeds, all that middle, and then you want to turn it upside down on a half sheet pan or another pan, and then add water to it. And after 45 minutes, what you end up with is a material that, using a fork, looks just like spaghetti. That's where it gets its name. So the last layer of this is spaghetti squash. So we're putting it, and this is going to be our garnish for our dish. So I push that down, off we go, and we've got a really cool looking centerpiece for the dish. All right, what I have done is pre-sauteed, just for the sake of having this ready to roll for you all. This pre-sauteed the seafood, the shrimp, the mussels, and the fish. I put the fish in first and sauteed it, then I added in the shrimp, then I added in the mussels. You want to cook by size, so whatever your largest item is, you put that in first and then go progressively down with the more delicate items that are smaller, because if I put those shrimp and the mussels in at the same time I put the fish, they'd be way overdone by the time the fish is done. What I'm going to do now is show you how to make a simple red clam sauce. I use a clam stock that you can buy at any grocery store. So we're going to put some butter in the saute pan. We've got fresh shallots and garlic, my favorites, to mince. We're not going to deglaze here. We are just going to add stock straight to it. Deglazing, of course, is removing those flavors from the bottom of your pan, but by adding our stock, we're effectively deglazing with our stock. So we've got butter, garlic, shallots, and here comes the clam stock. We've got clam stock. We've got a little bit of tomato paste just to redden this up, give us a little red clam look to it, and then some fresh herbs. And this is going to come to a boil very quickly. In my restaurant and many others, people use what they call slurries to thicken sauces. We use arrowroot, which is a combination of 22 different elements, similar to cornstarch, except a lot better. So the arrowroot slurry is equal parts arrowroot and liquid. In this case, water, and then it looks like a cornstarch. So all I did was put it together to form what's called a slurry here. I'm going to let this sauce come to a boil very quickly, and then I'm going to put about 2 drops of this arrowroot slurry in there. The trick is you can't use arrowroot unless whatever you're using is boiling. If you do, If it's not boiling, it won't work. And if you do it, you'll find that you're going to have what consistency of peanut butter very quickly. Look how thick this gets. Just amazing. Absolutely ready to roll. Beautiful red clam sauce. We're going to take our fish, begin the plate up, put the fish right on top. We're going to put the mussels around the fish. We're going to put the shrimp on the other sides. All right. And then we're going to grab our red clam sauce. We're going to grab a little bit more whole butter. And we're going to finish it, a little bit of whole butter. And then we're going to drizzle this on top and also around the dish. And that's just a fancy. You can sauce things. I could have put this on the bottom of the dish and let it all rest on top of it. I can put it directly on top, or I can do what I'm going to do now, which is kind of do a little bit of a drizzle. And I'm looking at that. That's a little thick for me, so I can add in a little bit more stock and get the consistency that I want without sacrificing any flavor. That's perfect. So we're going to do a little bit on top, and then we're going to take our spoon and do a little bit of a drizzle on this dish. This is very easy. You can do grouper, you can do snapper, you can do really any different kind of dish. You can garnish it with, I have a tomato rose on here, but if I wanted to add some more green to the plate, I can do some fresh tarragon on there. I could do peas, Brussels sprouts, really anything you want. Let your creativity go wild on something like this. Just remember to cook your items by size, your seafood, always remove the bloodlines, and find yourself a good thickening agent, whether it be cornstarch or arrowroot or whatever. And then use these rings. They're available in all the specialty stores now, what they're called the Tion rings, so you can do little stacks of fun flavors. No matter what season you're cooking with, it's a really interesting, fun way to cook, and I hope you enjoy it.